There we go.
Got
We're
it. Tell you what, if you guys were watching part one, we were driving down through Parma on the way here to the Douglas Manor, and it was either a ghost that knocked us off, or maybe the towers.
Yeah. That's what I get for saying I don't believe in ghosts. It was a ghost.
It was a ghost. And we were talking about the Warden's Widow and her role at Blood Prison.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do is we just dropped in on a legendary haunt here, if you're into home haunting or if you're here from Northeast Ohio, and we're going to kind of tour here, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of finish up with some more questions about the Warden's Widow. But one of the things that I think that we take for granted is great locations like this and things that we don't get a chance to experience, right? It's haunt actors.
Yeah. I was super thrilled when you said, hey, we're going to go through a home hunt. I was like, yay! Because I don't ever get to see them.
And so what we're going to do is come over this way, Craig. And one of the things that I absolutely love about most haunts is an entrance. And we appreciate John. So John, come on over here. So John, you are the mad
scientist behind Douglas Manor. Yes.
How many years?
I started in 2002 with a single prop on my front porch, and I still have that prop today. And it's all. I always put it somewhere on my haunt. It is so old. It had to barely. I don't know. I'm surprised it hasn't fallen apart yet. But it started in 2002 with a single prop. It grew from a single prop to a front yard graveyard, and I used to dig graves in my front yard. And then from there, I started using my driveway, and then I only did it on Halloween night because I just did it we had so many kids in the neighborhood that I did it for the kids in the neighborhood because I loved Halloween growing up. So I did it for the kids in the neighborhood, and it just kind of grew to the point where my family, as well as a lot of people, are saying, why don't you do this for other nights, like other than Halloween? And I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I can open it up for weekends. I don't know. Because I never went on social media. I never advertised it. It just kind of grew from just word of mouth from one to the other.
And now you've got the Warden's Widow.
And now I've got Warden's Widow. So, I mean, I've come full circle all of a sudden. And I've got, professional home haunt actresses and actors that are coming over here and checking the haunt out. So it's kind of cool.
So, so we're looking at your...
So this is my front... Yep, this is my front yard. You can't really tell what the front of the house looks like a little bit because I have covered it with a castle facade. And that has been there since day one.
Yeah.
I touch it up from time to time, but I can't believe it's lasted as long as it has.
20-some years, and it's still
ticking.
Now, is this where folks walk through?
Yes. So
or for where the Warden's Widow will duck through?
Yes. So people will enter the graveyard / pumpkin patch. And I used to have tons of graves that were all made by family, everything handmade. And those got old. They ended up they're in the back. They're still used. Everything that we made homemade is still being made. But we started trying to make maybe just a pumpkin patch instead of the big graveyard. So we have a few graves in the front, but then a pumpkin patch in the back, and it kind of leads you over to the entrance of where the actual haunted house is in my backyard.
Perfect. So is this where we should walk through?
Yeah. This is technically the entrance to Douglas Manor is right here. So you'll enter in here, and I obviously have added some pumpkins. I'll tell you, everything I find, I try to build everything. Yes, I buy some props here and there, but I try to build a big. It is a dirty down haunt. It's a catch your eye going one way, so when I have actors, they come scare you the other way. And that's what it's all about, the surprise of what's going on. So it's having something to look at.
And I would imagine that you get more than a small amount from time to time. Right?
Obviously it started small, but this year the rain has kind of hurt us. And I know you saw Michael Santiago and Douglas Manor. I love his haunt. The rain's killed us this year. It's got horrible weather. But typically I will do anywhere from 250 to 400 a night when I'm open. And Halloween night, I'll have 1,000 people come in. There'll be a line 4 or 5 houses down for 4 straight hours. So it's busy. I love it. I don't ever charge anybody. I've never believed in charging for this. I want families to come out that if they don't want to spend the $25, $35, $45 to go to a professional haunt, which is worth it, but if they don't want to spend that money to see if their kids will enjoy their haunted house, that's why I kind of built this. I built it for the kids in the neighborhood to try to get them interested, because I know when I was a kid, it was my favorite holiday. I loved it. It was my favorite holiday. When I got too old to trick or treat, all my friends and I, we built our own haunted house at one of my neighbor's house. And from there, I said I knew if I ever owned a house that I would want to do something like this. And between my vision of what happens and my brother-in-law, who literally helped me build it, I couldn't do it without him because he helped me construct everything. I couldn't make it happen. But it's kind of grown to the point where I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I do. I'm hoping other people will enjoy it. Well, I know I love it.
I love it. This is so cool.
And we have a live studio audience here as well. I mean, we've got your brother-in-law who does a lot of the build-up.
He does a lot of the building with me. He and I will spend a couple weeks, 2-3 weekends together doing nothing but just sweat, just building and constructing the actual house. And then I start decorating it.
And we got Paul Tarlicki, hey, Paul. Oh, my God, I didn't see you.
How you doing?
How are you, Paul?
Good to see you, man.
All right, so take us.
Yeah, come on in. So that's the way of the haunted house and the fungus. They come in here and he took a beat from the rain, so he's not working right now. I gotta dry him out, but they can start asking questions about whether or not we would make it through the haunt. I gotta fix him though. He's not working on me right now. But I have a table set up here in the middle where I have candy for kids every single night that I'm open. And I do take donations. I never charge, but whatever anybody wants to donate, I do take donations. I've done many different charities throughout the time that I've done this. And last year and this year, everything's going to first responders that are dealing with mental illness. Suicide prevention, alcohol, drug rehab, things of that nature, for police, fire, EMS, dispatchers, people in the service. And I know you talked to Michael Santiago, and he even said he deals with a lot of catastrophe, let's just say. Yeah. And it's very, very seldom that we see good things, because we see things, because I'm a firefighter as well. Yeah. And it's very, very, I guess,
Crisis management.
It is crisis management. We see everybody in like their worst time, and we see it all too often. And sometimes we have people that don't know how to cope with it. And so we have facilities available for first responders that can't cope with it, and I try to raise money to get those people to those facilities further. Yeah, so that's what everything is going to.
But thank you for putting on a great home haunt and for a good cause as well.
So this is our entrance way. This is where we will stop people, and we'll make sure that we will send in anywhere from 4 to 5 people, 6 people at a time, depending on how large their group is, so that everybody gets their own experience in the haunt. You don't ever want to just have a single line going in, and because then everybody sees everything that's going on. So this is where everybody will sit, and then we will send them in about every 30 seconds to a minute, based on how fast they go, and then we send them into our hunt.
Like this is legit.
I try to make it as lifelike as far as a professional haunt as you can get, but in somebody's backyard. And this is a Parma backyard. And I know, Roger, I think you Brunswick, right?
I lived in Brunswick. I graduated from Independence. But I lived in Parma for a number of years. Okay. So I'm familiar with the size, and you maximized
every inch of my backyard garage is huge. And so people tell me all the time, how many yards is this? I'm like, it's 1 yard, and it's a postage stamp. So I use every inch of it. So I try to do different things. It's not all the same throughout the whole thing. There's living room circus, there's dolls, there's everything you can possibly imagine. Now, you're probably going to have to duck.
That's okay. I'm here for this.
It's built for people 6 feet and under.
So this is the perfect time, because I know this is a question that you get all the time, probably ad nauseum. How tall are you?
6'7".
6'7".
6'7". So
Yeah.
it's not made for 6'7". It is, if you were more than 6 foot, maybe 2, you're probably going to have to duck to make it through part of the maze. Now, some of it is small, some of it is outside, some of it is under 10, so it's different throughout the entire maze.
Gotcha. Well, do you want to step up front, or do you want to follow up in the back?
I'll let you guys experience it, and I'll just follow you along. I'll follow behind the camera, and you guys can ask questions as you go.
That sounds great.
There's no actress tonight, so
Andrea, have you ever seen like a home hunt?
I
Like
haven't.
this?
This is my first one.
Let me have that for a
It's
moment.
so cool.
And so I would imagine that walking through a home hunt
Yeah.
that feels as professional as this,
Yeah, this is great.
because the Wardens Widow has been acting for 6 some years, and you haven't.
Blood prison. I've
At
been
Blood
doing
Prison.
acting in general 16 years.
Wait a minute, that was a question that I missed. 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I started my sophomore or junior year of high school. I love this. This is cool.
I'm gonna hand this back to.
This is cool. It's gonna get a big old shot of the back of my head. This is great.
It doesn't feel like we're in the backyard.
It doesn't. No,
So
not at all.
on nights that we do have actors, we will have at least one actor in this chair. So when they come around the corner, they just see a doll or a figure just sitting there. They don't know if it's real or not, and obviously they jump up, and it's one of your initial first scares is right there. We do have a couple holes that are cut in the wall, because all along that hallway you just walk down is an actor hallway on the other side. And so actors can scare you at any time throughout the entire experience of eventually walking into the haunt.
What we're going to do is, anybody out there, anybody who posts the link to or the address here, will put your name in the Warden's Widow drawing for next week, because I mean this is quite a show, and we're down to. This is the last week of October.
Yeah, we have 1 week left. Obviously, it's a big weekend for us. The last weekend, right before Halloween, is the biggest weekend, I think, of all home haunts that they've run one, or just any professional haunt as well. I mean, it's the busiest weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be busy. I open Friday and Saturday nights. I leave Sundays open for family, but I am going to take some of that time to go visit a couple of the haunts that I love to go watch. One of them used to be Paul's, and he had a little emergency there throughout the year, so he is closed. But I will go see the Haunted Yard in Parma. I don't know if you've ever been to them before. Phenomenal haunt as far as a home haunt. Probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Westbrook haunt. They did not open this year. They're building for next year. One of my favorite haunts as well. I know Steve and Andrew very well that run that haunt. They're an awesome home haunt. And then, Michael at Skelly Manor. I'm going to go make sure I go visit him on Sunday again, just to go see his haunt again. And then I have another haunt that's literally a block away from me, called the Hilariously Haunted Yard Nightmare on 33rd Street. And right on 33rd and Russell, it's like a block east of me and a block north of me. She does a little home haunt of herself that goes all through the backyard. So Parma and like the whole southern area of Cleveland is just loaded with home haunts. Loaded with home haunts.
South, you've got
Grovewood, just south of me, right there at Grovewood and State Road, has a nice front yard that is just decked out. It's not a walkthrough
Very
per
well
se,
done, no.
but very well done as far as home hunt. Yeah.
And so I know too that if you go through Cleveland Hunt Club,
Yes.
they can provide locations
So
here.
the Cleveland Hunt Club has a Cleveland Hunt Club map, right? You can actually Google Cleveland Hunt Club 2023 map. It'll take you right to that website, and it'll show you every haunt, whether it's a yard haunt, like a front yard display, an actual home haunt. It takes you and shows you everywhere in Northeast Ohio that if you're really into this Halloween stuff, that you can go see decorations, just incredible home haunts throughout the area. Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue to move here because we've just.
We have only begun. You have a long way to go.
And I love that you separate.
I do. I try to separate scenes.
Now, is this the right amount of fog that you want in here?
In here, yes. I don't want to lie.
Oh, wow.
So if you are out and about, right? We're in Northeast Ohio. You can buy a ticket to your favorite professional hunt, right? Maybe stop at a Nightmare Cleveland and then do a couple yard hunts before or after as well.
But but yeah, we should follow that.
So this is like the start of the circus area. And usually I'll have an actor sitting in this chair as soon as they walk around the corner.
I'm going to hand that to you.
So typically I have an actor in this chair walking around the corner, but this is basically just the start of my circus area, where I have like rotten candy and lemonade with actual baby limbs in it, like popcorn with hands and skeleton hands and stuff like that in it. And I have like a little butcher shop going on where you can get like a sausage sandwich or something.
And go down to the freak show.
It's just the beginning of the circus to go into the freak show. Yep. So everything here has been built. Some of it's been built by me. Some of it's been built by actually, to be honest with you, Steve and Andrew Sulik that do the Westbrook line. Like the actual entrance to the freak show, I got that from them. They were changing what they were doing when they started going to the Olympics. And I bought this from them and then kind of built on it. Added the tip of boot, added a couple new entrances in the back, just a couple new displays and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's a one haunt, home haunt, from to another. We literally will steal ideas from each other.
And inspire each other.
It is. I do. They inspired me to build this. I wasn't really a circus theme in the beginning, but then it started building into it. I don't know how long it'll keep, but I love it.
It's a great addition. And I'm so excited. I just kind of want to walk on in.
Yeah, come on into the freak show. I got a two-headed baby, a couple monkey boys. Here I have my clown that'll sit here and drill skeleton hands. Pretty nice for me.
This is amazing.
Most of it's fun. So I have at least 5 candidates to try to protect the entire property. Now, this year is really, it's challenged me because it has rained a lot on Friday and Saturday night. But it has held up very well to the amount of rain that we had.
It kind of adds to the set up. The props, the electric, the sound is kind of an engineering.
It is. I have at least 4 different, 4 different breakers that I've added to my just for Halloween.
So I know I'm making sure I'm doing it safely. All my electives run off the ground, so nothing is sitting on the ground, nothing is collecting, rainwater or frost or even snow. There's a couple years of snow. So I try to do it as safely as possible. Being that it's my entire yard that is literally has electricity going through it. Yeah. So my electric bill, they get a little increase in the month of October. I bet. Now we're probably in the back corner. So we are in the back corner of the house, and you go through the circus into this little toxic duck pond area where you go from the circus into like a little zombie area into a unsteady walkway. So I will say it's an unsteady walkway with corn stalks. To where I'll have a couple of actors with scarecrows just leaning up against my fence, just waiting for you to walk by. Andrew, you want to lead the way?
Sure.
And you were saying that on the weekend nights you have live performers. Right?
I do. Friday and Saturday nights. So I'm open every weekend in October. The first 2 weekends, we don't do actors. And that's to get families out with small kids that maybe want to see what a haunted house is about, but have, I guess, the comfort that there's not going to be people jumping out.
And I brought my grandkids here.
I literally do it to try to get kids into Halloween because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 weekends of October is when we have all my family, extended family, and some very close friends that will come and dress up and literally be actors. So I'll have anywhere from 6 to over 12 actors on Friday and Saturday night.
So, Andrew, I got a question for you. What was your first haunt experience as a youngster or
I remember this. I love this floor, by the way. This is awesome.
It was an unsteady, all this wood I found, like I said, I try to take everything I can for free and build something from it.
I love that. It was a haunted hayride, and you would sit on the back of the tractor as they put it through the trail. I remember this guy with his chainsaw actually touched me with a chainsaw, and I was traumatized by that. And I did not go to another haunted house for years. It took me forever to go back. I don't even know how old I was though. I was really, really young. So yeah, I stayed far away from haunts until I started working them.
And now you're on the other side, right? So we actually have a chainsaw.
Okay.
Every Friday and Saturday, when we have actors, we have a chainsaw. It is my brother-in-law. I allow him to use the chainsaw. I give him that option. So he loves it. He's our chainsaw guy. You're a special person who needs to wheel and dance with the chainsaw. Yes, he does a phenomenal job. We actually call him the chainsaw guy. We always post on there, come on, visit Douglas Manor, don't be shy of the chainsaw guy.
So that's your brother-in-law Jim. Does a lot of the build.
It's my brother-in-law Jim, and he comes every single night that I'm open, whether we have actors or not. I couldn't do this without him. Because it's family. It's just awesome. He's a great guy. I can't say enough about him. I couldn't make any of this happen without his help. I really couldn't. So anything he wants to do and he's ready to scare and be an actor, I let him go. So he's our chainsaw guy. People love him so much, they actually gave him a fan mail last year. They actually got fan mail from a couple of kids that brought in a letter specifically for the chainsaws.
I even and I know that the truck does a really good job of catching, but even the shadow. I don't know if that was intentional, but it looks like there's a shadow of a person standing behind it.
Well, it's funny you say that shadow. It was intentional, and that shadow is made from the very first prop I ever had in 2002.
And now Michael Santiago, he showed us his very first skeleton.
That he had started with.
Yeah. And so special about it.
And that little hallway is my very first prop I started with. So we kind of go from a little torture chamber area into this mirror room. And I've got to give some props to my neighbor who lives across the street from me. he is an artist that had all these mirrors. And he said, "Do you want them?" I was like, "Absolutely. I can make a mirror room out of it." So there are mirrors on every wall in here, and there's about 4 or 5 doors that you could choose to get out of here. And there's only one door that literally leads you out of here. So there's one door that'll lead you back into the circus.
Oh, so you can wind back
And
around.
then you have to just go all over
Back
again.
around.
So you go back around, and our actors will make sure you're heading back the other way, that no one's going in the wrong direction.
And this door.
And then, well, that door, as funny as you find it, Roger, that's the door out. But most people don't see it.
Oh, they don't wrap around. Okay.
Because they come in and they just see this door in front of them, which is the door I'm wanting them to take. Because this is just the dead end. And they can go into this room, and it's a very short hallway with a couple props in it, and then I trap them in the door.
I love it.
And so it's just a cool little area where I can trap guests in, just to make them,
Door number 3.
Door number 3 is to the actor hallway, and so there's always an actor behind that door. And so that whole actor hallway comes right up to this door, and I literally can have actors that will hide behind this letter A and can see what's going on in here and work the doors if they need to.
Yeah.
So,
And then if you're lucky enough to go around.
if you make it out the wrong door, you go around the entire haunt again until you make it back to this room, and then you choose another door.
If he's going to go. Eventually getting to.
Eventually, you'll get to this door that does lead out. So this area right here, I'll move my curtain out of the way, but this right here is the very first prop I ever owned.
So it's kind of like the spark.
It is. He sat on my front porch the year I moved in 2002 to this house for the entire month of October with a candy bowl. And then on Halloween night, I was him holding the candy bowl. And then if kids took more than one piece of candy, then I would grab their hand.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
kind of all started from there. So I keep them around. I can't get rid of them. The original prop, can't get rid of them.
I tell you what, I mean, there are all kinds of surprises.
There are.
Here.
I have actors that'll hide in this hallway. I have a curtain here that they will drop down, and so they can hide. And then this final room, as you start entering, it's a long room. It is my body bag butcher room, and it's made to be as disoriented as possible. And there'll be 1 or 2 actors walking around throughout here. And it goes on for quite a while because it goes on my entire driveway back to the exit. And it's literally made to where you can have 2 or 3 actors in here wherever you go to basically just make a good scare.
I mean, what a great rooming exit, too. I would imagine that people's heart rate is going up.
Yeah,
They
people
feel
get
they're
to this
just about
room.
ready to get out, and it's the big bang.
Yeah, the biggest thing I hear is people say, I couldn't believe how long it was. I thought I was exiting, and then I got into this strobe lit room with body bags, and I didn't know where I was. And that was kind of the point behind it. I want you to forget that you're in a backyard apartment.
Right? Suspend disbelief, right?
Right, and that's
This
the whole
is
point.
awesome.
And then
I love it.
with a couple actors in here working the props, working the actor hallway, you get to the exit. Then we have the exit, so we can open up the door and you're following out. So it's a lot for, I guess, the small.
Sorry, can't even hit you with that.
It is absolute great. I try to give people a different experience as they go in. It's different from one weekend to the next because I'll move props around. I'm still building props to this day right now. Like I never am finished, even though Halloween gets here. I still say I'm never finished. Yeah. I'm always trying to build something.
You even turn around, Craig. Turn around and even capture the.
So this entrance is new. This was actually designed by my brother-in-law. He had the idea, and we went with it. This whole fence was donated. It was literally free. This whole entrance was made of an old wooden picket fence, or like a shadow box fence. And he had the idea. We used to have a castle facade that matched my front of my house. And we decided to go with something a little bit different this year. I added the Predator this year, and actually that whole top section, there's basically a 12 by about 10-foot section that is solid construction that I actually can stand up on and scare from.
Yeah.
And so literally people can come through, and I can literally be standing right above them as they're coming through the haunt.
Well, we appreciate you guys opening up
Yeah.
your home haunt on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
This
in
is
October,
awesome.
allowing
Very
us
great.
to
Love
walk
it.
through and opening
the
up
heck?
really
Beautiful
to
night.
it's
It is.
very nice.
This. Why can't we have this on Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday, Paul?
I know, or be open tonight.
You know, let me take that mic
Yep,
back from
it is
you.
all yours,
And what we're going to do is we're going to finish up our conversation with the Wardens Widow, and then after we turn off that camera, I might swing back here to say hey again, if that works
Oh,
with you.
No problem. No problem.
Sounds good.
Walk on that
Well, I'll
road.
tell you what.
I appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
out.
Thank
I
you
really
for
do.
thank you for your being a first responder, for caring for our community, for putting up donations for worthy causes, for spending a lot of money and endless hours, to build a community and walk families.
There's
through
a
here.
lot of money and endless hours that are spent. You are correct. And every home haunter knows that. Every
Yeah.
home haunter spends a lot of their own money and a lot of time. It is so much time consuming building stuff. But if I didn't enjoy it, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. And to see, like, when the kids come through, they're scared to go in, but when they come out, they're like, I want to go again. That's the best feeling. It's the best feeling when a kid is unsure of going in, but when they come out, they can't wait to go back in again. And it just means that you've hooked them on Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, to where they're going to love other people's haunts, other people's front yard displays, professional haunts, to where it's going to grow generation after generation. That's my favorite part of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
We
Roger. for coming
appreciate
out.
it.
Thank you.
And we'll make sure that we put a bunch of links and connections so folks will know. Maybe they can swing by
Yeah.
the last weekend here in
Yep, oh, for sure.
2023.
John, good
Paul,
seeing
thank
you
you for
again.
coming out,
Oh,
man.
for sure. I just got
Always
done
good
playing
seeing
disc
you.
golf,
We'll be back.
and, I had some time out at Parma Vets Park.
Great work, man.
Thank
Great
you.
work.
Thank
Greg.
you so much.
Thank you for coming out.
So cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming out.
So, Andrea, I'm interested in your thoughts on a home haunt in Parma that has put this effort into
This is
it.
incredible. I absolutely love the concept, though, like he said, because how many kids are out there that they probably like watching, like Charlie Brown's Halloween and things like that, and they want to get involved, but like some of the bigger haunts are just too scary, and that's, they have age limits. So I love this idea that, the idea of like they're going in, they're scared, but they come out and they just have this big smile on their face. Like that's what it's all about. Like you want it to be fun, you want people to enjoy it. So
Now, you said, you gave me something, a factoid
Mhm.
that I didn't understand on the beginning. That was, you had been acting for how many years?
this is year 16, which is crazy to believe, but yeah. I'm trying to think. It's been intermittent in between there, but I started 16 years ago. So.
16 years ago.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to get back in the car.
Okay.
I want to pick back up on some of the questions that we were asking right before we got cut off.
Sure.
There, the first one. I know there's a lot of folks that were there for the first part. We got shut off, so we're going to connect these. And then what we'll also do is, if you share this video next week on Halloween, we're going to draw the winner, and the winner will get a piece of Wardens Widow memorabilia. And that'll be
I'm
great.
sharing for sure.
You're sharing for sure, and we encourage you guys to share as well. Again, in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's a share button. When you share, we know it. You could share to a friend, a specific friend. You could share it to your group, or you could share it to a public group.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody shared it into Tuesday at 7 too, because sometimes it shows up a little bit later. But feel free to share, and we'll do that drawing next week.
Roger, I'm taking off.
Yes, it's good to see you.
And I'm
It's nice
Paul,
to
by
meet
the
you.
way.
Andrea.
And
Nice to
yeah,
meet you.
heard so much about you. So.
Oh, thank you.
And Craig, take care. And John, I'll see you.
Oh, thank you for coming out.
Yes, thank you.
Roger, Andrea, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
for coming out.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
So, 16 years.
Yes.
We had also talked. We were talking. I think when we got cut off that last time, that there's a team
Yes.
behind the Warden's Widow.
There's so many people involved. We touched on Matt Seal earlier, him being just an incredible makeup artist. He's the one that developed the makeup for her, and everybody recognizes that now. It's still to this day, I'm walking through the line and people are like, "Oh my God, the makeup is so incredible." So he kind of created her iconic face, if you will. There is a girl in Columbus that makes my wig every year. Her name is Megan Merkel, or Miracle, I think is how she spells it. She has her own beauty salon. And she's made the wig every year. We literally gave her what we wanted. We were like, we want it to look like this, and she just nailed it. And she makes it so I can haunt in it. It doesn't come off my head. I mean, it's got a pretty significant amount of weight to it and height and everything, and she nails it every time. So there's her. There's Svenpuss Productions that makes the costume, from being able to take pieces off in the summer so I'm not too hot, to being able to layer up in colder months. My fingers are articulated fingers from Gary Fay. He has these incredible, there's different styles you can use, but he makes a bunch of different type of articulated fingers. So literally I always joke and say I'm the least talented of anybody involved in her. Like, there's an entire team, and without them, even down to the girl that French braids my hair. I don't know how to French braid my hair, but there's a lot of hair to stuff inside a wig. So without her, I would not be wearing a wig. So it literally is a team. It really is.
Yeah.
So.
Let's step back in the car.
Sure.
We'll spend another 5 minutes or so together. Yeah. If there's any questions, we'll take those as well. I know that for those that were part of the first round, they have heard that in addition to the team, that it's been an evolution, a character that has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
From costume to makeup to wig to...
Yep. Yeah, my initial creation of her...
What is light down there?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because this is eventually going to go
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'll save it till that goes off, yeah. My first creation of her was very much based off of like a 1910, 1920 school teacher. Oh, there it goes. And so her original costume was just this white ruffled top with like a long black skirt that someone had made me. And I wore that, I think, for the entire first year until the second year we switched to her wedding dress style. It was like this gray, well, it was the original just lace wedding dress, and we dyed it to look gray and dirty and all that. And then the third year is when we started using Svenpuss Productions, and they actually took the dress from the second year, and they were able to incorporate pieces of that original dress into that costume as well. So
if you caught the first one, and then some of this we're repeating, but in addition to the wig, the dress, the makeup team, the Wardens Widow is performing at the Ohio State Reformatory. Is that the correct? Is it Ohio State Reformatory?
It is. Yep. So Ohio State Reformatory, and then Blood Prison is run out of that. So yeah, people get really confused by that. They're like, "We want to come out and see you," and they go just during the day, and I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, I only work for Blood Prison. I don't work for the Reformatory, so I'm not there during the day." So a lot of people get confused by that, but.
And the Warden's Widow. I mean, there's the reason that their warden is in the name because you're at their reformatory.
That, yes. So the first year, actually, we had an entire family. It was funny because the acting director at the time, I didn't know this, but he had a plan to play the warden. And I always like to base my haunt characters off of, things that make sense, things that would actually be part of whatever scene or whatever theme or whatever they have. So I had started researching actual people that were involved at the prison, and I came across Helen Glatke was her name. It was the wife of the warden at the time. And I came across her story. There's like a rumor online, everybody likes to make their ghost stories. She's one of the well-known ghosts that kind of haunt the reformatory. So I kind of looked up research on her, and the actual story is she was getting ready for church and the gun fell and shot her. And unfortunately, she died from complications from that. Super sweet lady. Everybody knew her because she had like a rose scented perfume, and people will say they can smell her perfume in the reformatory. But I found this one random article that made up this story that she caught the warden having an affair on her, and so he had it arranged to have her shot so that this wouldn't get out because he was kind of this well-known figure in society. It's completely a rumor. It's not actually true, so I have to be very clear about that. Again, she was a very sweet lady, but that kind of gave me a backstory to my character of why she's kind of this grumpy, mean old lady. And so, yeah, that's kind of how she came to be, just kind of based off of that, basically. But at the time, the acting director, I came to him with this story, and I was like, I want to be, the warden's wife, basically. He was like, well, that's funny because I want to be the warden. And so we created this whole family. Some things have happened and they don't all work there. So we just made the storyline that I killed them all off and now I'm the widow.
There is a process, I believe, for folks to I don't know what to enter or to get into character.
Mm-hmm.
What is that process like for you?
So because I'm doing makeup now on other people, it's very rushed. So I get there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I first get into makeup. Like I'll get my makeup done, and then I jump in and do other people's makeups up until about 6 o'clock. And I'm kind of off in the corner. Like I like to be in my own zone. My two guards that play with me will come out. They'll come into our area, and we'll just kind of psych each other up for the night. It's a lot of scarfing food down last minute, scarfing energy drinks, like kind of getting in the moment. And then I don't know if people notice this, but they'll kind of stand there as I'm getting ready, and I'm very quiet. Like I like to just kind of think about like, okay, like getting into character, getting my contacts in, making sure everything's in place. Like I like the way she looks, and I want her to have that very specific look. So I don't want something to be out of place. I don't want you to see my actual hair that's going to take you out of, oh, that's a wig. Like I want you to be in the mind frame of I am this person, I am this creation. And I don't want something to pull you out of that mindset. So it's a lot of just kind of getting serious and getting ready, I guess. So
And I think it was kind of the first session, before we got cut off, that you had also mentioned that you also have a contacts partner.
I do, yes, which I'm wearing some now. I actually forgot they're in my eyes until you had said that. But yeah, Mocha Queen, they sent me different contacts to try, and I do have a partnership with them. If you guys want to go on there, I use code WIDOW at checkout. You'll get some money off. Great contact company. They seriously have some of the most comfortable contacts and an incredible selection. You can get scleras. They've got normal contacts, UV. So supportive. In fact, when I had my heart surgery, they actually sent me some money to like help me through that, like to help pay some bills. They're like, here, we'd like to sponsor you for your surgery. And just sent me money. I was like blown away by that. Just such a very, very nice company.
Yeah,
so
what a kind company. I know that a couple years ago we were interviewing Richard Thomas,
mm-hmm.
and the reason why I'm bringing that up is I asked him what was the process of him getting a character, and I was speaking, I think more so of kind of his mushroom head, sketch, that character, and he said that putting the contacts in his eye was kind of like the switch.
Yep.
He's like, there was, I went from being, our normal to our character, and by inserting that contact.
Yep, I would agree with that.
And there's something about that that I believe is true. With me, with you, with Rick Thomas. I'd imagine the same is true even with Craig. I know that you're putting in contacts, and that's part of the process.
Yeah.
Backstory: you have Blood Prison, a great set. You have excellence in terms of your presentation of your character. How does your character enter the customer space? Is there a ritual that happens in the evenings that?
That's actually really funny that you say that. So I used to do like one warm-up scream before the night, and I would always scream like right in between the two stairways, and you can hear it out those doors. I don't do that anymore though, because this year we have this awesome walkout. I don't know if you've seen it. They created this giant fog curtain for us to walk out, and we have like 6 songs that we can rotate with, and we all pick a song each time we want to walk out. And that seriously just gets us so jazzed and so pumped. It is so funny. We literally will just run through the line. Like, I literally feel like I could pick somebody up and throw them. Like, I have so much adrenaline going through me when we do that. So that's kind of like our warm-up now. we close the door and then like everybody knows now what's about to go down. So it's like once the door closes, you see everybody's phones out there like, oh, what's happening, and they get really excited. So that's kind of like our ritual now is we get really excited for that. We're behind the door, like kind of just like, pacing, ready to go. So
every once in a while I throw in a question out of left field, and this is a left field question, and that is, do you believe your experience as an athlete has changed? Because the reason why this just popped in my mind right now is that felt almost like an athlete entering a game.
That's what I said. It felt like a football team coming out for like warm-ups or something. That's what I said too.
Yeah, and I love it because I mean I see the videos and it's hype, right? And all of a sudden the Wardens Widow, the other members of the Blood Prison team, they're stepping out as well.
Yeah.
But is there something that you can harken back to in terms of your athletic days where you're like, you know what, there's something that I use that influences what I do now?
I actually don't know, to be honest. That's one thing that I don't think I've attributed to doing this.
Okay.
I'm definitely not in shape anymore, so I can definitely say that. Like chasing after people, I feel it afterwards. But I don't know. I can't say that it has, to be honest. I haven't played in such a long time too, so that could be part of it. But there's other aspects of my life though, like working in customer service and stuff like that, where it kind of teaches you how to deal with people and like difficult customers and stuff like that. So I think I attribute more of that than like an athlete standpoint, I guess. But it's something I've never thought about. So
yeah, and I don't know whether this makes sense. I was guessing because there's times that I've talked to other folks that have athletic backgrounds. They're like, I find that I can find myself get into the zone in hunt acting too, And so you may be used to, you don't think about it. You just, you just throw your hand under that volleyball, right?
Yeah.
You just slide into that pancake or you hit a ball or you get in just that basketball or, you're moving on the football field without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the zone.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, because that's one of the more common questions I get is it hard to not laugh at customers' reactions? And my response to that is always, I take my job too seriously, as a joke, of course, but I really do. Like, it is kind of this mindset because people will try to get me to laugh or break character. And it's just like I'm able to just kind of zone it out and just, like, honestly, what's going through my mind the whole time I'm walking through the line is, you're a bad bitch and nobody is gonna fuck with you. Like, and sorry for cussing, but that literally is what's going through my mind so that I can maintain that kind of stern face, not break character, not be laughing, not be talking. It's just, like you said, it's kind of just being in the zone. And I just kind of tune everything out and I'm just there doing my thing. So
Yeah. We go live from Facebook. Right? But your audience is really not on Facebook. Your audience is, what would you say, TikTok, Instagram?
More TikTok. Instagram is actually growing. This season I've actually got, we've got about 4,000 more followers on Instagram. So I'm up to about 13,000 on there. But TikTok, we are almost at 1 million. We're at like 955,000. So that one is definitely where most of my audience is. So.
And I know that for those of you who do not have TikTok accounts, if you were to jump on TikTok and you were to look at and is it the Wardens Widow?
Just Wardens Widow.
Wardens Widow.
Yep.
On TikTok, that you would see the top 3 videos have almost 60 million views. 3 videos only,
crazy.
60 million views, which is
insane.
More than most European countries.
It's so mind blowing. I literally had somebody message me last year from the UK and say, I am coming to the United States and Blood Prison is on my list of places I want to see while I'm there because they follow me. And it's just like being able to connect with people all across the world is just the coolest thing ever. I'll literally, when I go live, I have people, love from Thailand, love from here. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, this is so cool.
Well, I would posit, and I think that I have a firm foundation that I believe that here on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, we had a chance to walk through a yard hunt.
Yeah.
We had a chance to catch up over a pumpkin latte and a chai tea latte. that we've had the chance to sit down,
Mhm.
and I think you've had the chance to understand a little bit behind the story. But I believe the world's most iconic
Oh gosh.
haunt
Oh
character.
man.
The data doesn't lie,
Oh,
and so
geez.
we appreciate you spending your giving your story,
Yeah. Thank
spending
you.
your time, and guys, we appreciate you
Yeah.
you joining us here next week as well. If you share this, if you have any questions, please just mark them in the comments. If you share this video,
Mhm.
your name will be put in a drawing. And on
Mhm.
Halloween,
Mhm.
from my front porch on
Nice.
Trick or Treat night, we're going to pull the winner
Awesome.
for the Wardens Widow memorabilia.
Woo!
And you guys will enjoy that. You'll get a piece of I believe an icon character that'll live down in
Oh
infamy.
gosh.
We appreciate
You're
your time.
too kind.
And,
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig, for watching. Thank you guys for joining us here this Tuesday.
Thank you.